Hey guys, how's it going? Good to see y'all. How's everybody doing? Are y'all cooking up a storm already? Or do y'all get to just arrive and eat? Hey guys, good to see y'all. How's it going? I am going to be teaching how to pass a medical coding certification exam. That's what I'm doing. This is the 2023 CPT book written by AMA that is an open book exam for medical coding certification. So I am just showing off how to prep your book and get it ready for your medical coding exam. I have some practice exam questions that we're going to go over. I have anatomy, of course, and I have ICD10 and hip picks for tonight. Haven't done those in a long time, so figured it would be a good time to do those. A lot of the ICD-10s are dealing with guidelines that you need to know, so that caters along with it. But that's what I am doing. Medical coding is taking doctor's dictation on your op reports, stuff like that, in your medical record, and turning it into numbers. Those numbers are used for medical coding and billing. Nope. My job is not to memorize anything. My job is to be able to read the code descriptors and understand what is going on in these different descriptors to know whether I can code that or not. So nothing needs to be memorized. Pretty cool. I am a medical auditor myself. I'm not a coder or a biller, but I love medical auditing. I make sure doctors are documenting properly, and I make sure that they are meeting all the usual standards for getting measures done, making sure that they order the appropriate test when needed based off symptoms, that kind of stuff. Hey guys, how's it going? Hey Go-Kart, hey PJ, good to see you. It's going to be light tonight, I can tell. We've only got 30 on. We've been having over 100 each time I start, but I guess everybody is cooking, right? We don't do Thanksgiving on Thursday here. We usually end up doing it on Friday or Saturday. I have to wait on family to be able to drive to me. So I'm not cooking for tomorrow yet. I'll cook for Friday, I think, is when. I have a lot of friends that are family. We might not be blood relatives, but my sister, or Aunt Shy to the boys, will be here on Friday with her husband, Chris. And, yep, known them from a long, long time. And they'll be here then. I live here with my 3 boys and my mom, so my family's here all the time. But wait on distant relatives and stuff like that to get here. And they work in jobs that are front lines, so they work on Thursdays. So they'll be here the day after. That way the people that have kids, because they have no kids, they can have the day off, and then they'll come in and work for them on Friday. So that's nice. Hey, Susie, how's it going? Good to see y'all. Do you know what you need to get in order to become a coder? Of course I do. Absolutely. First, you need to take a medical coding certification exam. There's, in general, in the United States, 3 companies that do that exam or certification. AAPC is what I specialize in. They do the CPC exam. AHIMA does the CCS and CCA exam, and NHA does the another certification. I like AAPC because you don't need any prerequisites. You don't need a medical course. You don't need to pay for a course. You just pass the certification exam and you're a coder. And it is more nationally recognized. If you go on to like Indeed and you look up, the differences between CCS, and then you look up again for CPC, you'll find more job openings with CPC. So they've just done better advertising to employers, and probably have been around a little bit longer and have their foot in the door from the get-go. Let's see, we're doing 298.62. So we're going to be back some. There they are. So they are on 14, 15, and 16 are on page 199, column 1. So this book is in numerical order, but there are codes that pop up that are out of numerical order. And when that happens, they give you a range of codes to go search for them. I like to just go look and see what page number it is and write that down beside each number, because this medical certification exam, you have to do each question. It is multiple choice, but you have to do each question within 144 seconds, and there's 100 of them, and you don't want to be looking through 50 codes looking for a number that's misplaced. You want to be able to just run to the page number. So I go through the book when we get them brand new and just write the page numbers down so that it's prepped and ready for that certification exam. Now, where I go find them, they're on a page and all the codes are in black, but I'm really looking for a red code, right? So I go through here and I just put a small little red line. I still have a frog tonight. I don't know why this frog is hanging out for the longest time in my throat, but he's still here. But I just underline them in red so that I know that that's my out of sequence codes when I'm back here looking. Saving me so much time. Thank you. And it was only $9. You're awesome. That's great. I hope it is helping you. There is nothing more traumatic than going through, especially the lab and path section, and finding all the out of code sequence codes. I paid for a lot of information during my study times and trying to learn how to pass this exam. And all that money I spent never told me once that there was this thing called out of code sequences. And I got down to taking my exam and really wanted to pass, and I couldn't find any codes. I couldn't find anything in Lab and Path, which was, it ended up being okay. I did pass, but I was pretty upset about paying for a ton of information from other people that are selling it, and no one said anything about this mess that's in these books. And Lab and Path is towards the end of the exam. You're already 80 questions in. You're getting brain fatigue and exhausted, and then you can't find any codes because they're all in a range or on a table, and you can't find that table, wherever that table is at. So it is super frustrating for sure, and it's one of the easiest things that you could share and tell somebody to go fix this before you take the exam. And no one shared that info. It's just silliness. So that's super helpful. And yes, I do sell documents that will help you navigate this and speed up your time on doing lots of projects like that, where you can get copies of my notes with all the page numbers down, so you don't have to stress and go through this entire 1,000 page book and find all those. So happy to help, but I'm happy even more to teach you how to do it for free. You don't have to pay me $9. You can go through here, find all those red codes, and then go hunt for them, and then write the page numbers down. You can do it yourself, save yourself $9, but you're going to be there for a couple of nights working really hard going through 1,000 pages, but it can be done. But if you're in a hurry and you're fixing to take your exam, yeah, that document's there. Absolutely. Oh, how's everybody doing? Neither did your program. No one told you. That's crazy. Goodness. Hey, Jen, do you know how long it takes for the apprenticeship to be removed request takes? I submitted mine before I even scheduled my CPC exam. I never wanted my CPC to come back with an apprenticeship. I thought that was just silly, especially when I've got 20 years in medicine behind me before I even took this thing. So I submitted my college transcripts and a letter from an employer before, and I believe that came back in like 6 days. That was like in 2009. I sent a PDF of my college transcripts, and then the PDF of the employer wording, and it was easy. Didn't have any trouble. They sent me a letter back saying, congratulations, when you do schedule your exam, it will come back with just a plain CPC. So that's awesome. But it didn't take too long. They claim give them like 30 days, but I don't know if I've seen it take very long at all. No more than 2 weeks, I'm sure. I got a generic email saying 4 to 6 weeks. Yeah, but it doesn't take that long. I just started class. First quiz, 98. Second, a 63. No worries. No worries. Be sure and save every single one of your quiz questions, especially if they are A, B, C, and D format. Put them in a Word document or a PDF, anything that you can keep and look at later. You want to go through there and re-practice those questions. That will be the most important thing throughout your course, is to save all the quizzes. There's a lot of reading and stuff like that. If you have a way for it to read the dictation to you, that's great. Play it in the background or the videos while you're doing laundry or dishes or something. But the main thing is to save all those questions. Everything you get practice questions on. Super, Super important to save all those because you can take those and put those in your CPT, ICD-10, and HCPCS book. Like, for example, let's see, I got anesthesia done here. I just about done. So if you have a practice question that had a patient in labor and there was a non-medically directed CRNA who does that type of anesthesia and they planned to go natural, but they ended up having to do a C-section, how would you code the anesthesia for that example? You can write the answer down exactly in the order of how it was done on your practice question, and that is super helpful. You'll have an entire course of little notes like this on the pages where the codes are found that you can reference during your certification exam, which can be super, super helpful while you're taking it. Absolutely. Super cool. Don't worry too much about your scores. No one's going to see any of that. And you can even take the course and totally fail it or never even finish it, but you can still sit and take your certification exam. That's the only thing that matters, is if you become certified or not. But you are so welcome, Jessie. Thank you for the 400 likes so far and the 2 shares. Thank you for all the follows, Love Bug and Alyssa and Tiff. I have notes available on Etsy, but also available for a little bit cheaper on my website at medicalcodingbyjen.com if you need copies of my notes, but I can show you how to do them for free. You're an RHIT, and our program didn't teach us a lot about coding or stuff. No, they don't. They gave away a CPC course, 3 of them during COVID, and for free. And I just took them. I was already a CPC, but I just signed up for the free courses just because I had extra time. And that's how this all started. I was shocked at that course was supposed to teach you how to pass your certification exam, right? That's what we all assume. Well, I thought after I finished that course, if I had to take a certification exam from that, I would never be able to pass. How do people pass after taking that course? That would just be an unreasonable thought process. And then I got more into it, and AAPC's actual director of education has even said that the course is not meant to help you pass the certification exam. It's meant to show you how to do medical coding. Well, the certification exam is already coded for you. You're not doing any coding. So any course is going to teach you how to index stuff. Well, the exam is just A, B, C, or D, and the codes are listed. You just need to run to the codes, know the differences in those codes. One's a repair, one's a plasty, those kind of things, to be able to look in the question to see which is the answer. And that course is not going to teach you how to do that. It's going to teach you some vocabulary terms and maybe even some anatomy or something, but there's only 5 anatomy questions on the exam in total, so it's not like it's going to mean a whole lot anyway. So I started making TikToks about it, and that's how all this started. People were like, tell me more, tell me more. Oh yeah. Rhead 55, who won a free tutoring session from me on Monday, said she got hers back in 2 days. That's awesome. And have I heard from you I know you want to do it before December 10th. Did you message me on my website, medicalcodingbyjen.com? Did you get on there and tell me what day and time of day is going to be the best. If you sign up at my website, Miss R Head, I'm assuming it's Redhead 55, be sure and message me here so that I can schedule you and put you in my calendar. My calendar will come up on this Wix thing, and then I can plug you in. I've got MK on Friday. I don't have anybody tomorrow. I'm not cooking for tomorrow, so if by chance you wanted to do tomorrow, I can do tomorrow. I do have Chrissy, who I need to tutor again. I'm not sure if she's hanging out with parents or whatnot, but I might reach out to her and see if she wants to tutor tomorrow. Tomorrow I am not having to cook, so I'll cook on Friday. Studying for your CRC now? Good job. CRC is a way to go. Everybody's wanting risk adjusters. Absolutely. If you do get your CPC, they're probably going to train you to be a risk adjuster. Might as well get your certification and be paid for it. A lot of doctors' offices are looking for risk adjusters. You want to risk adjust your population and see who your sickest patients are so that you can get them in and get them services to keep them out of the hospital and the ERs where they spend most of your money. You're welcome. Can we still use dry erase boards for the online exam? No, you cannot. People were bringing some dry erase boards with some advertisements on it, like Walmart or some other kind of print, and the proctors were having trouble deciding if that was pre-written info that shouldn't be there or if that was a true logo of something, and it just created a lot of conflict between the proctors and the test exam takers, and we've lost it for all. So no dry erase boards, unfortunately, anymore for the online exam. Nope, nope, nope. Hey, darling. Hey, C-Mac. Hi, I don't know. Thanks for the follow. Hey, Elisa. Thank you for hanging out and being a subscriber, too. Good to see you. I'm doing the program for medical coding and billing. Awesome. I don't want to know anything about billing. You are braver than me, but it's where the money is. And plus, you can work from home doing billing too, so you're double whammy there. That's where a lot of people want to get the job working from home. I've been working from home since 2013 with my company, so love it, love it, love it, love it. The question about penectomy, would you recommend anything other than the 54125? They have that one for the penectomy and to remove that apron area underneath your torso. So I think they just have the one code for it for right now until we expand our ICD and our CPT to meet what the rest of the world is doing. Thank you, Fat and A. Marie and Words on Central. Is there a link for the 2022 notes? Yep. If you just go to my website at medicalcodingbyjen.com, there is a social media tab that will take you to the Facebook and the YouTube and the Discord, which is my study group, but also right there is the shop, and it has the 2022 CPT book, the ICD-10, and the HipPix notes, all listed there for you. So all the notes that you could need for even ICD-10 and HitPix. They're all listed there. Yep. I haven't put any of the 2023 notes there. So that HitPix note is for the entire book, $16. It's not bad. Yep. The 2023 notes so far are on Etsy at this particular second. I have the ICD-10 guidelines up there. I haven't put them on my website yet. I got to one of these days when I have some time. And I also have a document that will turn your 2022 book, CPT, into a 2023. That way you don't have to buy another book if you don't pass by the time the end of the year and they switch the exam up. So that will help. Help. I'm just highlighting what is inside of parentheses. Anytime you see that, you want to be sure and highlight it, whether it's in the guidelines or in the actual code. That's the most important thing at first. That's maddening. I did my course and I have learned more from Jen in a month. Oh, that's awesome. Than a 9-month course. Yeah, that's great because I teach from the exam point of view and they're teaching from a coder's point of view. And in reality, that's not even how you do it in the office when you get a job. You don't code from these books. We don't index from these books. We all have encoder or some sort of kind of like a Google search on your computer system, and that's how you code patients' charts. We don't ever deal with these books and the indexes and all that stuff. So all those coding programs are just so outdated. They're not even helpful for the job. Yep. Tell me more, please. Yes, you emailed me. Okay, Redhead. All right, awesome. All right. I just came into the live. Do you have any advice for someone considering this profession? Yeah. My 3 pinned TikToks will show you exactly how to get into this career if you want to, the cheapest and most efficient way possible with the least amount of money spent without buying a course and everything. That's helpful. Other than that, you pretty much need to decide, I guess, on your own if you want to be a medical coder. There's thousands of jobs. I mean, even Amazon is hiring coders right now for their pharmacy line. So there's, ambulance services, surgery centers, pharmacies themselves, CVS, they all hire remotely. It's a really good profession to go into. It's steady. You can be happy in your remote job, but you can still move up the ladder in administration and get paid more and more. The more years you put into this, the better pay you can have. Starting out, you put in your 1 year. After that point, you can pretty much pick whatever job you want, and the potential to raise your income, even double your income from the time you start coding to just a few years, you could double your income is a great possibility just because a lot of people will leave this profession. We're going to be switching from ICD-10 to ICD-11. People aren't going to want to deal with that. They're going to retire. There's always things you can volunteer for, like medical auditing that I do that nobody wants to do because they don't want to learn something new, but it is extremely easy. And if you like puzzles and putting puzzles together, that's what I do. I try to find errors, which is just a hunting for people's mistakes, which is lovely. It's a puzzle to me, and no one wants to deal with it. So I've more than doubled my income when I was clinical on the floor delivering babies just by chart auditing. And, there's just so much you can do with a CPC and a coding certification that is so different than, if you start working at Walmart. Of course, you can start out as a cashier, then you can move to soft lines and be putting clothes up, but you really don't move up in income that often. You could also become overnight stalker, or you can move up as an assistant or a CMS, and you might get a little bit of extra money, maybe $1 to $2 to be, supervisor over the other cashiers, but there's nothing like doubling your income and being in the medical field where you can make your own appointments and you know how to do the coding and billing and getting things paid for your family members. Plus, you've got an insight on getting your own appointments. There's just so many benefits to it. Really is. Because if you're not in the medical field and you're trying to call and make appointments and you don't know anybody in the system, then, you're on your own. But when you're in a system and you know the system and how it's run from the inside, then you know how to work it and work it to your advantage to get the health care that you need. That's another thing. That's a big thing in the healthcare field. It is small community, even though it is a broad community for sure. But I highly recommend it. DM'd me on Instagram. Good Lord, I never check those things. Half the time I can't figure out how to get into Instagram messages because I'm not on there a whole bunch. I'm sorry. You lost. It's okay, RD. Yes. Thank you for saying that you love my videos. Yes, you can convert a 2022 CPT book into a 2023. I did it last week. And I made a document for you guys. It's $20-something. It's on Etsy. It'll show you exactly what I wrote in, if I needed to add a new code on what page or which code you need to go to and write right underneath it if it's an add-on code or something. Or if you need to delete a code, I go to that code and I show you what I did to delete it. And then if you need to add in new codes, I also hand wrote them in, but in case you couldn't read my handwriting, I took a picture of the 2023 book where it prints out what the note says for a new code as it's written typed so that you can adjust just in case you can't read my chicken scratch. So it's a good document. So it'll help you turn your 2022 book into a 2023 so you don't have to buy another book. And I kind of recommend. There is such a huge difference in the E&M section from 2022 to 2023. They delete like 10 pages of codes. But what if you take your exam in January? They tell you need the 2023 book, but what if your exam questions are on the 2022 CPT codes, and then you only brought your 2023? You're not going to have access to the info. So if you have your 2022 book, you could have both worlds. Or are they going to let you bring both books? And what if you do this online? Is the online proctor going to let you have both books? Because we don't know what we're facing as of January 1 or February. Until somebody takes the exam, we don't know. They always say they change the exam, but historically, I've never ever seen them change the exam until April and actually have updated next year codes on the exam. But they claim they do every single year as of January 1st. But I can only go off of what feedback I get from people that are taking the exam or what AAPC tells us. They tell us they change it, but I've never seen any new code show up till April. from people that, report back. Anyway, what position should I apply for if I'm still learning to code? Well, I try to help out with that. If you join my Discord group, which I just showed y'all, if you go to the medicalcodingbyjen.com and you go to the social media tab, and you just click on that join now, it'll throw you into my Discord group, which is all free. But right here at this job resource place, I put in a job right here recently about a care support coordinator. This is a job where you don't need to be a CPC. You only need customer service experience dealing with customers. It's 100% remote. Spring Health hires 100% remotely, and all you need to do is handle incoming calls from members, and they'll train you on what they want you to do. And all you need is customer service. And it still pays $27 to $31 an hour, but it's a foot in the door with a medical company, and you're not having to code, but you're learning the lingo. You're learning members. You're learning whatever Spring Health wants to teach you about their coordination of care, maybe getting their charts, rescheduling appointments for them, whatever. But this says what you'll be doing, but the only qualification is customer service or related call center experience. And the pay is great, and you're getting brownie points because you're in the medical field. And they often post this stuff. So that's a good thing. If you're wanting to get into the field, go apply at a hospital, be the front desk receptionist in the ER. They always have those ward clerks, people that help with paperwork and scheduling appointments for hospital follow-ups. That's a great job to do too, that you get your foot in the door and you don't have to have any medical knowledge whatsoever. They train you on the floor doing that kind of stuff. But don't be a CNA in the hospital. Oh my God, not unless you like to touch a lot of poop. A lot of poop, like human, adult, male, from the top of their head all the way down to their toes, poop. Because that's a terrible job. CNA work, they do not get paid enough to work in the hospital. Not at all. Those, no. No, they do not get paid enough. CNAs. They are awesome, awesome people. Just something that is, $12 an hour is not enough. They do not get paid enough. Not at all. Hey, PJ. Do you know about CTR? I think that's what it is. All the certifications are pretty much the same. How many classes do you have to take to be a certified? None. Savage. None whatsoever. Not a one. Oh, you're cooking, Miss Baking. I like bacon. The 2022 guidelines I took off the website, off of Etsy, because I typed those out and I made the notes where the code was in the middle, and then I gave examples on either side. But because it wasn't page by page written in the guidelines, on the guidelines, people found it very confusing. I thought it was handy dandy to type my own set of guidelines, but people don't know where to put my notes if I don't do it page by page. The 2023 guidelines are the same guidelines as 2021, 2020, 2022. It's the same medical coding guidelines that don't change. The only thing we do is add a few updates, and you might as well get the 2023 ones because it is written page by page on the guidelines for you, which is great. You can, and if there is anything new that isn't in the 2022 guidelines, it's just added bonus material for you to know when you do get a job in medical coding. So it's not going to hinder you. You just don't have to write that data on the 2022 notes. There's not anything other than really maybe another extra COVID codes that they come out with, but they're constantly coming out with new RSV and COVID codes. And that's always just handy to have anyway. So I was so proud of those typed notes, but I got more confused people than anything out of those. So I just won't type them out anymore. I will always just write on the pages so that y'all know where the notes go. We are going to do Anatomy ICD10 and HCPCS codes. I can't get to everybody's messages. I was back to, I had 60 more to read, and I'm just not going to get to everybody. I'm sorry. If your question is important, just ask it again. Or if somebody didn't answer it for you. Right now, I'm on the 2023 book of CPTs, and I'm just playing. I'm going around here, finding anything that has a parentheses in it and highlighting it. Anything that has the word each in it. Anything that says the word bilaterally, use this modifier. I love making sure I have those highlighted. Yep. That's all. I'm just playing around. Hey, MK. Good to see you. Hey, Go-Kart. Can we use the old guidelines we already have for your, the guidelines don't change that much. There's just a tiny bit of information that gets updated. Now, do I always put more info in my notes from year to year? Yes, I learn more about what else I can add. My 2023 notes do have more examples than my 2021 notes, my 2022 notes ever had in them. Like you see a guideline, I'll show you what to underline, what sentence in that guideline is important, and then I'll break it down if there's any sequencing, what goes first, what goes second, and then I'll give you an example of what it would look like in a question or a scenario. And that's how I do it on my notes. So 2023 has more examples than any of the notes prior because I've been playing around with more and more practice questions, and I use those as examples for sure. But yes, you can absolutely use prior notes to update current year. Absolutely. Let me get rid of this 2023. Let me find my HCPCS book. All right. So I'm going to be using the AAPC version of HCPCS, the 2022 version, because I'm still studying and working in the exam that is good through December 31st. So we're going to be doing those questions. A ton of HCPCS ones. I think I got 20 new ones of those. We'll do that book, and then I need an ICD-10 out. This is my old 2022 CPT. I can put that one away. And ICD-10, so the last time I did my ICD-10 guidelines, where I did them per page, was 2021. Last year, 2022, I typed them. So that's sort of what they look like. So if I go to, that's COVID. I don't want to go to COVID. COVID's crazy. COVID's crazy. What is this? What am I doing here? Pathological fractures. That's G11. So if I go to G11 this time, we're going to have examples written out like this. So they're always a little different, or the notes are different, but pretty much the same. We're going to need, or I'm going to use the 2022 ICD-10 book from AAPC. That year, I didn't write the notes in the guidelines. I typed them all out. And yeah, people found that so confusing. So I did it different. But for our questions we're going to use these two books. It's all right if you have Optums or whatever, but for page numbers, telling you what page number I'm on, just know we're probably in different books. Let's do a few anatomy real quick to get our brains working, and then we'll move on to the codes. Let me know if you can't see the screen or if I need to move things. Let's see. Where can I find the workbooks? Google AAPC CPC workbook. Then change the Google to shopping and find a bookstore that is selling one with free shipping. Best way to find it. Hey, Lady Love. She says it's not the end of the world. Aw. It's not. Lady Love, be sure and call APC or email them and get a breakdown of your score if you haven't already. That's a really good way to figure out what you need to work in, because they do break down your score and let you know what your score is in like ICD-10, what you did in HitPix, all those kind of sections. And it's super helpful for me in case you need my advice. You can send me those scores and I'll let you know what I think is the most important areas for you to concentrate on, because you don't want to spend too much time on certain subjects that aren't going to benefit you, or they're too difficult to learn, or they have the least amount of questions on the exam. You really want to make sure your E&M is up to date. You're doing really good there in your cases, because that's the most amount of questions that you'll have. That's almost 20% of the exam with 16 questions in those two categories. So you want to be really good in those. Anyway, get those breakdowns. Super helpful. She passed the cases, which was fine. That's awesome. That's awesome. Okay, let me get a drink. I still missed a few questions. Sorry, guys. All right, everybody saying A on this one? A is correct. Awesome. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Good job. What about myopathy? It seems like we've done this one before. Where am I at? The recent few days. We got ear pain, spinal cord, muscles, or fingers. This one was C. Very good, guys. Good job. Good job. What about releasing adhesions of the intestines? What is that? I'm sitting here auditing my stuff. It's not lining up perfectly. It drives me nuts. Thank you for helping me answer all the questions, Twinkle. I really appreciate you. She helps keep me straight. Another C? Are we really going to do C again? Yes, we are. C is the answer. Good job. Here's the definition for all 4 of them, just in case you need it. But C was the answer. This is a removal. Anytime you see TOMY, that means we're removing it. And all they were doing was releasing the adhesions. So knowing some of your prefixes and suffixes does help, but I also put these kind of definitions near or at the beginning of the chapters for those coding sections. All right. What about suffix for pathological condition or state? I wish it would stop trying to spell everything. Our lovely little words. Stop looking at things. Yep. C is it. Perfect. And there's the definitions for all of them. That one means seizures. This one means opening. Yep. Perfect. What about somebody's having an endoscopic examination of the entire colon, and it may include part of the terminal ileum? What test are we doing when we're doing that? Another C? Thank you again to the subscribers. Y'all get extra tabs of pieces of paper for you guys to go in the cookie jar. I just recently did a drawing, what was that, Monday? And here's the definitions for all of those. And I still got to get a hold of, who is this? I got Tate and Vanessa, who won copies of my notes Monday. If you want to get free notes or enter in the contest, all you got to do is email me at medicalcodingbyjen@gmail.com. Just put raffle in the header and I will enter you in, put your name down on a little piece of paper and throw you in my cookie jar and have the boys draw names out. I do raffles for free notes and free tutoring based off the sales of a document we create together, which is what's been on the exam in the last 45 days. I have some updates. I got 5 people that recently told me this week what was on the exam. I just had somebody today. Was that in the Discord? Somebody in Discord. Who was that? Right there. Sam, Dr. Sam, told us some more info today. I copied that and put that on that document so that you can see the definitions, the CPT codes, whatever was on their exam when they took it today or yesterday. And it's done. I just have to email it out to everybody. So anyway, that's where I use that money for the sale of that document to give people free notes and stuff. Hold on. Maybe my children calling. I'm sorry, guys. I'm live with 70 students right now, so keep it PG. What's going on?
Oh, man, I can't keep it PG. There's a hilarious comment that was
No. You can tell me at 8:30. I got one more hour, okay?
Okay, sounds good. It's kind of hilarious.
Okay, I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
Another nurse. I knew she was not going to keep it PG, so I had to warn her. So let's see. Are the actual exams taken exactly from the practice exams? It's from the same pool of questions. AAPC has a pool of questions, and when they generate exams, it is randomized. So when you take it in person, they print those books based off of who's taken their exams in that particular date and time. And randomly, they will assign you one, and they will auto-generate the questions. And the practice questions and their magazine questions are all part of that pool. But mostly, a lot of times you might get 3 or 4 of those practice questions on your exam. The rest will be similar, but written with different vocabulary or written in a different sort of scenario. So pretty close, pretty close. I've seen people take like exam A the first time, then the second time they take exam B, and then they go back and take exam B again. It's very hard to remember if all these questions are in the same scenario, in the same order of the exam that you took the last time. More than likely, it will not be the same exact time, but from one test to another, but it does happen that you get the same exam. It's just very hard to remember if it was all the same thing. Yes, MK got C first, and then she got B, I think, recently. I'm thinking, I can't remember. All right. Cardiovascular. Combining form defined as a vein is what? Hey, crazy. The exam is for a medical coding certification exam. I'm doing some medical terminology right now before we move on to ICD-10 and HCPCS codes. It is B. Good job, guys. And there is the definition for all of them, just in case. All right. Radiological projections is defined as an X-ray beam entering the front of the body and exiting the back of the body. What position are you in if the beams are going that way? Yeah, a lot of times the degree doesn't mean as much as the certification. So I hope I can help you pass that certification, which is silly because you don't even need a degree to take the certification. Are we anterior, posterior? Very good. There's the definitions for all of them, though, just in case you need it. My YouTube subscribers get the benefit of seeing my workshops. So, and they also get an extra name thrown in the hat for winning tutoring sessions, one-on-ones, and notes too. So I appreciate all y'all. Plus the proceeds from TikTok subscribers and YouTube subscribers also goes to that raffle, giving away lots of tutoring sessions for people in need. I know I got to look it up again. In June, I had given away 2,000 free hours of one-on-one tutoring. I wonder what it is now in November. I haven't looked. I gotta look. All right. Yep. I remember my question was all about the male and female reproductive system constantly. Every anatomy question was all about this stuff. I was like, gosh, are y'all trying to tell me something? Anyway, A is the answer. Here's the definitions for all of them, just in case. Exam C was all about reproductive. Yeah, I think so. It was just constant. There was not anything unless it was about reproductive system. Yeah. All right. Which of these define as changes that occur in a blood vessel within the retina? Well, I hope I can help you, Cal's mama. Absolutely. Make it a lot less stressful for you, show you the process of elimination, looking for similarities, teach you how to not read the questions at all, just let the codes tell you what the answer is. Yeah. Blood vessels within the retina. We're looking for changes. Blood vessels. We got A, B, C. I finally got one that y'all are in a disagreement about. I get those blood vessels pop every so often in my eye. I don't think it has to do with the retina, but that's what I think of when I think of blood vessels in the eye. Most of the answers were C, and yes, C is the answer. Here is the definitions for all of them: the glaucoma, cataracts, retinopathy, and retinal detachment. You can swipe right, get rid of chat, and then do a screenshot of these definitions if I'm moving too fast, and you can write them in your books later. So your CPT book has a whole eye section and a picture of the eye before you start coding it. You can write definitions like this right on that eye picture page, and then that way, if you ever need or want to double check your answers during the exam, you know where to go and what page to go look at. Which one is not? So you're looking for an incorrect answer. Which one is not a bone in the hand? Conjunctivitis for pink eye? Is that it? I hate eyes. I don't do eyes, toes. I have avoided those clinics at all cost. My eyes water. I'm too sympathetic. I'm an empath. I worry about people too much. And if their eyes are watering, my eyes are watering. Then I can't do what I'm supposed to be doing to the patient. So it just makes a whole mess. If they're crying, I'm crying. So that's all there is. If their eye is tearing up, mine is too. So, yep. And I had bad toes when I was little. I was constantly dropping things on them. Constantly seeing an orthopedist. He actually one time hammered toothpicks into my toenails. It was... I can't deal with toes. Even when I went through clinicals, I could not deal with toes. I just, no. I don't want to see anybody's toes. It's just medieval. Tarsal is correct. All right. Regions. Which of the following regions is posterior surface of the thorax? We're going to end with this one. and move on. Yes, you get to hear my lovely little stories. I do workshops on Sundays once a month. They're $10. We do 3 hours of practice questions, but I do them in the pace of the exam so that we can do 75 questions in 3 hours, and you don't get any stories on those. And the people that subscribe to the YouTube subscription get to see a lot of the replays on those for free and other little benefits. Lots of extra little videos. This one is the C word up here. I'm not sure how you pronounce that one, but yep. That's the region of the hips. Did I do that wrong? It's not. It's B. I put that down wrong. B. It's the dorsum. Sorry. Dorsum is the posterior surface of the thorax. This is also called, of the hips, it can also be called the ilium crest. If you ever see that, you're in the hips too. And then this one is hips. Anyway, posterior surface of the thorax is the dorsum. And then our axillary is armpits. We all know that one. And inguinal is in the groin for our hernias. Oh yeah, we're going to stop here. I'm going to draw another line because I got more stuff down here. We'll start these. I probably won't go live on Friday. It depends on what time family gets here. So I may just do another live tomorrow to make up for that. Since I don't have family tomorrow, I mean, it'll be on YouTube so y'all can replay it. So don't worry about being here. But I'll do questions probably tomorrow instead of Friday this week. Just because I have family here from Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then I've got one of my boys coming in on Monday, and he'll be here for like 9 days. So I'll be next week be distracted too, but I'll still do the lives. But I'll be cooking for sure for Friday. So let me see. What am I doing? Hip picks or ICD-10. Let's do some ICD-10. All right. You want to pass? Yeah, tomorrow's Thanksgiving, but I don't have to cook for tomorrow. No, nobody's going to be here tomorrow at my house. They're all frontline workers, you know, whole family of frontline workers. So they're all working so that other people can be at home with their family. So I'll cook for them when they're off work, which will be Friday. So I can do a live tomorrow, but it's okay if y'all can't be here. I'll put the replay on YouTube. So we're going to go to I-10 and I-11. Those pages. You're working tomorrow till 2? Okay, MK. Oh, and y'all are home. Oh, I hope he gets to feeling better. Probably 6:30, yeah. Seems like a good time. For me, anyway. All right, guys. So the first thing we need to know is, are we dealing with an insulin-dependent type 1 diabetic, right? Because we have that code right there. Or are they a type 2 diabetic? And I bet they're a type 2 because we have 3 answers with the same code. So let's go look real quick. We're only checking the question to see if we know anything about that. Let's see. Cardiomyopathy. Do we have anything about all that? No, we don't have any of that. Oh, I'm not doing the E's. They're I's. Sorry. I'm having a dyslexic moment. Good gracious. I'm like, why is there not diabetes listed in here? Well, because I'm having a dyslexic moment. I have it so bad some days. All right. We're going into our hypertensions and our myopathies. Still, we're probably going to be a difference between the I-10s and I-11s. All right, where are we at? Lord knows, I got tons of notes about this section too, if y'all need them, about what to add in this section. It's super helpful to have notes in either your diabetes or in your hypertension codes. You don't have to do up the whole book, but there's about 10 different areas you know you're going to get quizzed on. You know you're going to get quizzed on your hypertensive hearts with your CKDs. You know you're going to get your diabetes. You're going to get your burns. You're going to get your pregnancy deliveries, those kind of things. Anytime you run into practice questions in those areas, write down the examples near the codes so that if you see an example like this before, again, you'll know how to answer it. Super helpful to add as many notes as you can. So in looking for similarities, I would get rid of A because it's an I-10 and not an I-11. Now out of these, the two similarities, I would get rid of B because it has the I-51 instead of the I-59. They only want to know is, do we add the I-51 code with it, or do we only have 2 diagnosis codes in this scenario, or do we have 3? There's a guideline, I'm sure, tied to this. So they just want to know that. And if we go to our I-50, that's where you find a lot of your guidelines, is the first 3 digits. For our heart failure, it says code first. You need to code your pregnancy first, or your heart failure due to hypertension has to go first, which we do have. We do have our hypertension, and it also says obstetrics or rheumatoid heart failure. Those all have to be coded first. But we do have our hypertension, which is there, and it's first, and then we do this one. It doesn't say anything about code additional code for the I-51-7. I-51-7 is for the cardiomegaly. Would we use that code too in this area? Lady Love's got a good idea. Thank you, Medic Mary, for the follow. Thank you for the 2,000 likes and the 11 shares so far. Hey, Gigi. No complication needed. That's right. We're going to do C as our only answer. And it's really cool if you write down patient with cardiomegaly due to malignant hypertension with congestive heart failure. They're trying to make you think you got to code all 3, but you write this example down with the answer that they want, C right there, next to the codes. Super helpful. You could write it at both the I-11 area and write it again at the I-50. Have it in both locations, written out with just that little bit of terms with it, and then you've got it to reference during your exam. In case you have anxiety, and you get to the exam and you go, oh gosh, my brain blanks and I've forgotten everything that I know about medical coding. You've got the example, and I guarantee you they're going to have one just like this. Sorry, I got to go find all of our practice questions. I'm still scrolling. I don't know how far I scrolled. Must have been far. Come on, there we are. There we are. And there's your rationale for that one. It's got a long rationale because you have a rationale for your I-11. Then you've got your rationale for your hypertension heart conditions. And then you've got your guideline for the I-50s. Pregnancy. You know you're going to get hit with pregnancy. Sorry, the options for the last question, MK. They were just wanting to know if we did our similarities, You get rid of those. And then they were just wanting to know, would we add a third code or not? That's all. Cardiomegaly with hypertension and congestive heart failure. Nope. It is just 2 codes because of the malignant hypertension. Yep. All right. OB. You know you're going to get hit with OB no matter what. We got similarities is what I like to do. A lot of times AAPC gives you 2 throwaway codes and then 2 that are super close. They want to know if you know the difference. So I would get rid of C and D without doing anything, and I would only go to 0249 and then 0244. What's the difference here? What's going on? And I'm slow to get into the codes because I'm doing this one-handed. Let me see. 024. Oh, 24. And I have tons of examples. Anything that you can find on OB, put them in the OB section. You're going to be asked about OBs for sure on any medical coding certification exam. All right. Our 024.2 I got, or 0.4 I got to first. That's gestational diabetes. And then our 0.9 is unspecified diabetes. Would we use an unspecified diagnosis code as a possible answer during the CPC exam? Most likely not. I would just pick B and move on to my next question if I was doing this as an exam question and save my time for cases and other things later on. Does that make sense? Like if you just go to the 0.4, you get gestational diabetes. If you go to 0.9, you get unspecified. They're usually not going to use the unspecified. And that was the only little bit of difference between A and B, is just that beginning point of the 4 and the 9. You don't have to go all the way down to the individual little bitty digits most of the time. You can really ration it out pretty well. And most of the time an unspecified code isn't going to be what they're coding to on the exam. They're going to want to be specific. And I bet she has gestational diabetes. Let's see. Yeah, induced diabetes. That means gestational. If you don't, also, when you're at that 0.4 where it says gestational diabetes, you can write in an AKA term for gestational as the word induced so that you can be the thoracist you need to be for this exam. They will really run rampant with a lot of terms that are just AKA words for what's in the CPT code descriptor or what's in the ICD-10 descriptor. They'll try all they can during the exam to not specifically say exactly what the code says, just so they can confuse you. Instead of saying gestational, they said induced, hoping to confuse you. And they're hoping that you'll see the word history of diabetes and think she's just a normal type 2 or something like that. Hey, Sunny D. Thanks for the follow. And B is your answer. And there is your rationale for all that mess. In case you like the wordy version of saying things. Yep. We only use the Z codes if it's for, if they're here for their routine pregnancy. Remember, please remember, if you do any billing or coding in real life, you need to leave that at work. You do not need to bring it to this exam. None of these coding questions will be appropriate for real life coding. They're going to leave off modifiers. They're going to leave off appropriate codes that, what if she was here for her routine pregnancy visit and it did need her Z code? They're going to leave off all that. You have to pick the most correct answer of the options. That's all. And practice their practice exam questions because they're the ones who are writing the exam. So, yeah. If you're doing AHEMA, be sure and practice their AHEMA practice exam questions. If you're doing NHA, practice their questions because they're the ones that write up the questions for you. Super helpful. Not that cross examples are great. You can do that, of course, but your main focus will be really learning patterns of who's writing your exam will definitely help you guys out. All right, S's. So the trick here is not to go down to those 3 digits. To be able to find the definition of what the K's, S's, and A's are, you only need to go to S62. So go to S62, and that goes along with any of the ICD-10 codes that end with the 7th digit of a letter, and you need to find out what those letters mean. Always go to the first 3 digits. Always. Super fast, easy way to figure out what the answer is really quick. So S62, let's go just to that number. I'm trying. One-handed. Okay. I think it's on this page somewhere. Nope. One more back. There we go. This is also where you'll see all your guidelines for that code. So if you're going all the way down to all 6 digits, you'll miss your alert and your notes that tell you there's a guideline. There's something you don't need to miss. Anyway, RK means it is a subsequent encounter. So it's subsequent means that's not a new patient visit. And for a fracture of a non-union. And then our S is a sequel visit. That means it's a post-healing. They've already healed and they're coming back 6 months later saying, oop, I'm having issues now. K is the same thing as up here. And then A means initial encounter for a closed fracture. Closed. All right, let's just check out what's going on. They are here 4 months ago. That makes me think it's a healed, right? What's going on? She presents for a non-union. Now we've got the non-union and a sequel visit. Would we use this as a sequel visit or a subsequent visit or a sequel visit? This one's sort of using both words. You're saying it was a healed fracture and we would use our S? Well, I think because AAPC has 2 Ks, that B is going to be out and D is going to be out. We need to keep the 2 Ks because they're the similar. There's a reason why they put that 2 with the same answer down. And they want to know if we would add an additional code to it or not. Would we add 2 codes? Would we add that A to it? Would we do a K and an A? And obviously, no, we wouldn't. That's like something you'd never do. You don't want to mix those 7th characters. So your answer is actually A. Even though it certainly seems like it is such, it's a healed, and coming back for more issues. But 4 months ago, if you think about it in weeks terms, is 16 weeks. It's still within week terms. If we're talking about sequel visits, we're talking more like 6 months after a fracture. And how many weeks is that? 4 times, I don't know. That's still only 20, I don't know how many. How many is that? 6 times 4 is 30. So it's almost double. So yeah, somewhere around there. 24 to 30. Yeah, somewhere around in there. 6 months after a fracture, it should be healed. But we're getting close, but yeah, it's going to be a K. And see, another perfect example to write down beside every one of these Ks throughout your ICD-10 book. In this S area, anytime you see K listed, you could put this example, 16 weeks, which is the 4 months, or 4 months. Wrist, non-union is K. The more examples you get, the more you know what AAPC wants as their answer. What would be viable or able to bill based off the health plan of a real person is going to be totally different. Totally different. I don't know if a health plan would take a K, and they would probably demand an S. I don't know. It depends on their health plan. Anyway, here is your rationale on that. It is not an acute or recent fracture, but that eliminates C and D. And then, eliminates C because the 7th character, K, is a non-union fracture. You don't report it as an S. Yep. I guess the non-union is over it. All right, our T codes. 24 weeks, yeah. 4 months. How would I word this example? So either way, you could do 4 months or 16 weeks. 4 months, MTHS, non-union wrist equals K. 4 months, non-union wrist equals K. Or 16 weeks, non-union wrist equals K. That's how I would do it. I hope that's helpful. All right. What's going on with these T codes? Do we have anything that's similar? We have 2 that are the 3 1s, A's. Got it. Good. All right, good. So I really like A and D because they're the first, same code is the same. The differences are, we could either do the T22s, 2s to 3s, or we could do the T31, 21, and 10. It just seems easier to do 4 numbers than this, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. Whichever one you want to go to, you can pick it out. T22 3, T22 2, or we can do T31 2 or T31 1. Either way, we need to go look at our differences. Either one. Since the first code is the same, let's see if T31 is Burns. Oh boy, Burns. Are we a 2? 31, 2.1 is 10 to 19. 10 to 19%, and then T31 10 is 9%. But the key thing is here, we got to remember, is these codes are only for third-degree burns. A lot of the CPC exam questions will combine a total surface body burn for both first degree, second degree, and third degrees and give you a percent. And then you grab that and run and answer your question. But you need to make sure you separate it, and we're only doing the third-degree burns in this particular particular question. So let's see. We're looking for the total burned. 15% was third on the chest, and second degree burns we don't want to do. We don't want to do that. Total surface body was 20%. We want to bill off just that 15 right there. So 15 is going to fit right there in between on A, right? This 9 is 0 to 9. 0 to 9. And we're looking for 15. 15 is going to fall in with A. Does that make sense? I hope so, MK. I hope it's helpful. Yeah. Only 5% of the burns were second degree. If the total body surface that was burned is 20%, but 15% of it was third, then we only have 5% as second degree. But they're asking us which one is the correct code for this one, and we definitely need to have third degree burns at 15%, so we're going to be A. Okay, good. Thank you, Go-Kart. And who else? Lady. Lady. A is your answer. B and C get eliminated. And then I had to shrink the guidelines down. See, patient had 15% third degree burns, which coordinates with that one right there. You need a study buddy, Mel? We got study buddies for sure. You guys can meet up on your own Zooms. You can do 45 minutes for free on Zoom with a free account. You guys can get practice questions and work together. Absolutely. I have a room in my Discord group that's labeled Study Buddies, and y'all can go in there and create your own little group and do your own little Zoomies together for sure. All right, let's do another T one. So it's nice to be sure and like post and study group buddies, like what state you're living in. That way y'all can at least get same time zones, because it's a nightmare dealing with time zones. Let me tell you, when I'm trying to tutor people from all across the United States, it's not fun getting together in the same time zone. So that's the big thing, is be sure and post what state you're in. That way y'all can at least be in the same time zone. That way y'all can coordinate together. That'll make things easier for you, for sure. Yep, and like one of y'all can buy, exams A, B, C, and then the other one can buy C, D, E, and y'all can study together, or D, E, and F. There you go. Dyslexic. So bad today. y'all can get together and help out each other. For sure. Thank you, Twinkle. All right, guys. Let's do another ICD-10 and we'll head over to HitPix. You go to AAPC's website and you can purchase their practice exams there. Do not purchase the course, just purchase the practice exams. Let's see, let's go here. So if you go to My AAPC, you go to, let's see, go to training, go to CPC exam training, and right there on the side, it'll say practice exams. I wish Tahima had some practice exams like that, but I think they only sell books. When you get to that page, just go down here to this page right here, and you can either buy bundle A, B, or C, or you can buy D, E, and F. I recommend having all of them. Do not check that box. Just hit I agree and hit it in cart and purchase. That's all you need. Then to find them, once you purchased them, go to My AAPC, go to My Purchased Items, go to My Items. Don't look at everything I've bought for you guys. It's a nightmare. But your exam practice questions will be right here, and that's what it'll look like. You'll just click into it. You'll agree not to sell them or share them over the internet, which I 100% agree. They went to the trouble. They paid staff to create these questions. The code, yes, just use them in a study method as personal use. Do not share them openly over the internet. Anyway, you go in here, pick out your answer, whatever you want it to be. You do not have to answer all 50 questions at one time. You can, if you got time in between the kids' showers or whatever, then just do one at a time. It doesn't matter. Go on and hit grade. You can get your result, and then you can also look at your rationale if you got it wrong. So no one's going to keep score. If you fail it, don't worry about it. They do have a little timer here you can stop or use to make sure you're doing them within 2 minutes each. You can reset it. It doesn't matter. No one's going to keep score. Do these over and over again. And then also, if this and this is your answer, then go write a scenario of an 8 centimeter lesion and a 0.5 biopsy was done next to these codes, and that was the answer, so that you've got something to reference. And then also go to the wrong answers, look up all the codes that were wrong, figure out why they're wrong based off the words that are here, and learn that for sure. Take any words that they use that you're not familiar with or that are not in the CPT code descriptor and write them beside the correct answers so that you'll have their AKA terms too. But anyway, let's get back to our ICD-10 question. But I hope that's helpful. We're going to go over here and let's look. Let's see. We've got, I'd get rid of the D because it's not like the others. These are all B5s and yeah. So let's go, I like the 2A and B because they're the T81s. So let's go see what the difference is between the 4 and the 8 under T81. Let's see. T81. Yeah, I haven't done ICD-10 codes a long time. So I know this is helpful. T81 4. That's infection following a procedure. What is our T81.8? That's other complications of a procedure. Did we have an infection? Did we have an infection? Red and warm infection. There we go. So I would pick A and move on, simply because A said the T81.4. I didn't go any further than that. It said infection in green. And then the T81.8 said other. We usually don't code to other. We don't usually do that. So I would pick A and move on with my next question. And don't read the questions from beginning to end. If you take all 50 words of that to your next question, by the time you do 50 questions, and you have to do 100 in 4 hours, which is 144 seconds per question, if you're reading as many words as you can before you try to answer the question, you're never going to get through the exam and you're not going to pass. You only need to look at the questions and do a word search of the differences of the codes and only look for those words. That'll keep you from reading any propaganda that's in there to make you confused, and it'll also speed up your exam taking so that you can squirrel seconds away for exam questions where you can't find any words when you do a word search that match, and you need to spend more time with those than 144 seconds. So you need to bank as much time as you can. Get these easy ones out of the way where you can find words that match. Here's your rationale. You're welcome. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for tapping. All the hearts. We got 3,000 hearts, maybe? Somewhere around there, tapping the screen. That's awesome. We got 14 subscribers. That's awesome. All right. I think TikTok keeps most of that. I think I get $2 per month from that. I haven't seen anything yet, but that's cool. Appreciate the support. It'll all go back to you guys anyway. So we've got our A and B and C and D, and what I see is a separation in cancer codes. If you know a little bit about the diagnosis codes, I know I said we were only doing that one and moving on. Sorry, I forgot. So let's do one more and then we'll move to hit picks. The C codes are all our cancer codes, right? And the other thing I'd love for y'all to, quote, memorize is that the C codes are cancer, but the numbers, the lower the number, like the C3, so C1, C2, C3, C4, those are all primary cancers. Like, I have brain cancer. That's where it's at. But if it metastasizes and spreads from my brain and it goes secondary, where I have brain and lung cancer, then the secondary is usually a higher number, like the 6s, 7s, 8s. That's the other thing. So right away when I see these answers, I'm thinking, okay, it's a difference between primary cancer that hasn't metastasized, it's only in one location, or do I have a secondary cancer that has sprung up that I'm seeing them for today? So that's the guideline they're asking. It looks like the patient has a metastasized cancer because they have both codes and all the answers, but then they just reverse them. They want to know if you can understand as a coder what the patient's being seen for today. What are they being seen for? Is it the primary brain cancer or is it their secondary lung cancer? Why are they here today? What's being seen for? So let's go look. We've got, yeah, they got metastatic. We know that, but what are they being seen today for? They are being seen for just their metastatic. They don't even tell us where their primary cancer is, right? Thoracic spinal cord cancer from the lung. Okay, so their primary cancer is the lung, but their metastatic is through the spinal cord. So that's cool. So they're being seen today for their metastatic spinal cord cancer, right? Do I got that right? We're going to get rid of A and B because we know that's going to be, the lung is going to be in the back and their spinal cord is going to go first. We just need to look at the C72 and the C79. We don't need to go any further, and just see which one's going to match our spinal cord cancer. I bet it's the 2, huh? Sometimes I don't know. The 9s are non-specific, but you never know. You never know until you go look. So 72. Why is so little time given for each question? I always thought that was a messed up. Well, you have more time now than you used to. When I took it, we had 120 seconds per question, and we had 150 questions. They have listened to everybody bark because our exam was even more extensive than even an RN's exam, which is only 75 questions, or an MD's certification. If you want to be a doctor, your NCLEX and stuff is only 75 questions. Ours was 150. It took a long time. They did finally cut our exam. It's still 100 questions. It's more than most in the medical field that do a whole lot more that can kill you. You know, we're not going to kill anybody with codes, but doctors and RNs, you know, they only get 75 questions, and then they got a license, right? We still have to work on them a little bit with the time. You know, a lot of NCLEXs and stuff are not timed. You can spend all day on those 75 questions or whatever. It just depends on what state you're in. But yeah, we got a little work on them, but that's what they want to know. They feel that any coder would be able to recognize situations like I have right here to know quickly how they would code the situation by only maybe looking up 1 or 2 codes. You wouldn't want, and you can't spend all day looking up all 8 of these codes. You're going to have to at least know a little bit about a guideline or a section to be able to eliminate and get you down to just 2 codes to look at and be able to pick an answer. So that's what they expect. And that's the only amount of time they're going to give you to do that. So 72 is malignant neoplasm of the spinal cord. What is our C79? I'm looking. Malignant neoplasm of other. We've got other again. I should have went into school for nursing instead of coding. Yep, that's an other. So we're not gonna. Are we gonna code other? Did they give us enough info? What does that 72.0 tell us? 72.0 of the spinal cord. Spinal cord cancer, thoracic spinal cord. And then the 79, 4.9. The only thing I worry about that malignancy of the 72 of the spinal cord, I don't see that it says secondary. You know, the C72 doesn't say. I don't see where it's, I thought these codes were secondary. Does anybody see? It shouldn't just say malignant neoplasm of the spinal cord. It should say it's metastasized. It came from somewhere else. So I might need to pick some more numbers. Let me go down to the O. 72.0. Nope, it just says malignant neoplasm of the spinal cord, but it doesn't say metastasized. So let me go back to the 79.49. 79.49, there you go. It says secondary malignant neoplasm, other parts of the nervous system. So they don't have a secondary malignancy of the spinal cord. The only thing they do have is other. Yeah, we definitely need it to say secondary. So we can't use C. We're going to have to use D. Tricky. And it's using other, which is unusual. Thank you, Twinkle. Yep. Did it get you, Jessica? Don't forget that we are using a secondary code. So our code has to say metastasized or secondary. Yep. Yep. There is your answer. It is D. It almost got me too. I was ready to go for it. And then I had an explosion in my brain going, wait a minute. Where's your metastasize? That's the word that came to my mind, was where's metastasize? It doesn't say metastasize. So, yep. That's why I got that wrong today. Aw. Yep. They love to trick you on those kind of things. So you got a lot of, it's kind of like juggling Jell-O in a tornado, you know. You've got a lot of parts. You just can't forget that one key part that we can't code it as a primary. It has to say secondary. So, yeah. And I thought the 72s were all secondary. But because I thought the numbers started at 6 as being secondary, but they're all in a mix. All in a mix. Yep. They're all over. All right. Well, you won't miss it again. The next time you see that, you will know to look for secondary. All right, I'm going to put my line there, and we'll start back there tomorrow night when I go live. We'll do some more of these ICD-10s. I still have, where's my number? I still have 15 more of these. All right, and hip picks. I have not done hip picks codes in, I don't know, months and months and months. Other than maybe just one or two randomly. So this is just a bunch of them. So yeah, let's do some of these. I know I haven't done this. Tomorrow will be 6:30 because I can't do a live on Friday because we'll be eating. That's when we do our Thanksgiving. Yes, I will post this on YouTube. You got it. And I will post tomorrow nights on YouTube too. I don't think I've done Mondays. It's not on YouTube yet. I got to remember to do that. Yeah, I got to do that. Okay. Ease. Ease. I see that we've got one that's E2, so I'll get rid of that for now. And then these are all going to be in a row. They're all going to be super close, so let's just run to the first one. C is E0170. Maybe C, D, E. You have 5 questions on the hip pick section on your exam. 01. It's not something I like to focus a lot of time teaching on because I think the codes or the descriptors are self-explanatory. But recent scores have shown that people are not doing well in hip picks. So maybe there's something here that I really do need to teach you guys. And I know a lot of it is going to be in the J codes because you're not going to look at the direct descriptor, you're going to go down 3 lines where it says the drug name, and that is going to be the difference between all the J codes, and that might be something that you guys are missing when you're doing HCPCS codes. So anyway, most of them are pretty self-explanatory and easy, but there's obviously something going on that I need to teach you guys. Oh, my pages are just stuck together. I can't get... Okay. All right. I'm on page 156 of the AAPC's CPC HCPCS book for 2022. Good gracious. So our differences are commode chairs. One of them is electric. One of them is non-electric. One of them's over the toilet. And yeah, that's it, right? We've got 70, yeah, only the 3. Only the 3. So we only need to see if it's electric or not, or over the toilet. That's all. Easy peasy, right? Mostly bedbound. What would we order for a bedbound patient? That could be difficult. What would you bill? An electric one? Yeah, they do have the electric right there. Yep. Just look for your little keywords. Super handy dandy. I would also put bedbound on that one too, underneath that CPT code. That'll help you out. Because what if they don't use the word electric and they just say a movable toilet chair for a patient who is bedbound? Anyway. Seat lift mechanism. Yep. All right. This one, I'm thinking right away, J codes are medicine. What are Q codes? Just going to go look up any Q. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, Q. And those are like casting supplies. What's the header for that Q section? Temporary codes. So they're temporary. So it might be a hodgepodge of crap back here because they're temporary codes. I guess some of them could be medicines, but I bet it's a difference between C and D because they're the exact same numbers. And all they want to know is, do we know if we can times 2 this number or not? So I would hardcore look at C and D first. So let's run to J2950, A, B, C, D. And this will be one where I can show y'all where to look during the exam to figure out the differences between these codes, because it's not directly across from the numbers where it'll say injection and then this long name in milligram. Don't look there. Look 3 sentences down where it says drugs. That's the more important thing. So 2950. 2950. This one doesn't have that drug area, but this is just promethazine. But like on one of these right here, you're not looking right here. What will be in the CPC exam question is this prednisone name is probably what's going to be there, is the drug name. So when you're looking at other codes for other questions, but this one's just promethazine. How much is in this promethazine? It's up to 25 milligrams. We can bill the 50. So it doesn't matter how the vials come, if it's 10 milligrams per cc. This will bill all the way through to 25 milligrams. So let's go see what was ordered and given, and then we'll know if we need to times anything or not. We gave 50 IV. How would you bill that? And by the way, you see how promethazine was given another name, which is not in that descriptor, right? They called it promethazine, but here they're calling it Phenergan. It's an anti-nausea medicine. If you're not writing that name underneath that code, then you're not helping yourself. That's how you use these questions to help yourself during the exam. Go write down, because they don't change their wording. Even if they write the question differently for your in-person or online exam, they're going to use that word Phenergan. So go write it underneath that code. And then you can write example 50 milligrams will be coded when you figure out what the answer is. Promethazine. Prednisone is a steroid. Phenergan and promethazine are anti-nausea. Yes, Phenergan, yes. That is, Phenergan is promethazine. Are we going to do the 2.9 or the 2.5? Yeah. Yep, it's going to be our D. Yep, all day long. 50 milligrams. IV. Let's see about this one. We've got a colonoscopy for an 80-year-old. Which of the following codes are preferred for reporting this procedure? 80 years old. Would we be using a CPT code, an E code, a G code, or a T code in the HCPCS? Looking for similarities, you know it's going to be in the HCPCS. Also, you need to know that anybody over 65 is in general usually on Medicare, right? Medicare patients don't get billed any CPT codes. They always get HCPCS codes. So then you just have to find out which codes are for your colonoscopies. Are they E, G, or T? Yep, they are G. Yep. All right, let's look up these. We got two that are A's, a 4-4 and a 6-2, and then we've got a Q and a G code. Wonder what our differences are on the A's. Or if we wanted to look and see what our differences are. Are we doing ambulances? 44? No. A44, 52. Where are we at? A44. A44, 52. Tape, waterproof tape. Oh my Lord. We just got tape. Or 62. Like anybody is going to pay for tape. No one's going to pay for tape. 650. Skin sealant. Are we using a ointment that seals the skin, like glue, right? Something like that. Let's see what we're doing. We are doing tissue adhesive. We're not doing either one of those. It's not tape and it's not glue, so we're going to have to look somewhere else. Are we going to be in the G's or the Q's? Let's go look at the G. G01, because it's closer. G01, 68. G01, 68 is wound closure, tissue adhesives. Yep. So I would pick B. What do you think? Yeah? Just looking up exactly what they use. They didn't use the glue, but they're probably trying to trick you and make you think of it. But tissue adhesive just sounded totally different from what they were using in the A1. Yeah. Yep. That was the better choice. Was B. All right. We got 2 E's. What are the E's? E1, 10. Where are we at? A, B, C, D, E. You're welcome. Baby's hollering. Give that baby a little hug from Jen. And I will post this up on YouTube. I'll go grab Monday's nights and post it while this one's rendering. Let's see. E1050? All right. Thank you, Twinkle. We'll get done with this one, and then we'll go. E1050 is fully reclined wheelchair. Oh, boy. That's cool. What is our 84? Our 84 is a Hemi wheelchair. Hemi. All right. What are we doing for this patient? What do we need? We need a mobile power device. That doesn't sound like either one of those. A fully reclining wheelchair, or the other one was 84, was a Hemi. Detachable arms and stuff. Doesn't sound like it's either one of the E's. My goodness. Let's go back to the G's again. Everything is G. G03. It has a ton of codes in it for all sorts of things, from colonoscopies to tissue adhesives to wheelchairs. HIPICS is just a menagerie of stuff. 72. 72 is physician services required to establish. What? G03, 72. Yep, to establish a power mobility device. Okay. Is required to conduct a face-to-face exam for a mobile power device. Well, that matches 6 words all in that same CPT code. I wouldn't bother looking up S. That's usually temporary codes. What do you guys think? Do you agree on this one? Happy Thanksgiving, lady. Thank you for the 15 shares and the 4,000 likes. Yep. Yeah, C is our answer for sure. That's cool. Yep, because of the documentation. Yep. All right, I'll finish this here. We'll do the rest tomorrow night. How many more do I have? I have a ton. I'm only on page 8 and I have 24 of these, 24 pages. So I got a whole bunch more of hip picks. We'll do a bunch more tomorrow night. Same time, 6:30. I'm going to skip Friday night. And I hope y'all have a great turkey day tomorrow. Eat plenty for me. I got to wait one more day. But I'll be around tomorrow if anybody needs me. Can you do transport? Can you do the transport ones? The ambulance ones? I don't know if I have any. Let me see. I haven't even, like, I just copied and pasted a bunch of stuff. I don't even know what I got. Let me see. Do I have ambulance? No? What about if we do EMS? Hold on. Gonna do Control F. EMS. Nope. Ambulance. Transport. I'll try to find some. It's hard to believe that I have 24 pages and none of them being ambulance ones, because I know they ask those constantly on the CPC exam along with these J codes. We got our J10, 20. No, just the 20s, 30s, and 50s. Yeah. And sequencing. A lot of the CPC exam is already sequenced for you guys. So like on that ICD10 quiz we were just doing, it's sequenced. Like all these external causes and other things that are, you know, you need to get your injury, then the place of service, then other areas that go along with that. What is all that? That is, I know I've got it all written out with the chapter 20, wherever the chapter 20 is. Where's chapter 20 start? It's in the purples. Purple. All of our external causes. Our cause, intent, place of service, the activity, and then the status goes last. Usually the exam is all sequenced for you. You just need to know what you're going to code first, especially on questions like the cancer one, where you needed to know that the patient was being seen for today was for a secondary metastatic cancer. It wasn't for their primary. And if you know that, the rest that comes after it doesn't matter at all. They're already sequenced in the perfect order for you, especially the burns and stuff. They're all in the order that they're supposed to be. Some of the hypertension versus the, if you're going to bill a I-10 versus an I-50 first, you know you're billing both of them, but you don't know which one's first. Whatever they say in the exam question, if they say the hypertension before the congestive heart failure, then you code the congestive heart failure before the congestive heart failure. You do the, however it's said in the question is how you code it. 99.9% of the time. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm going to go do some blanket washing and pillowcases and all that stuff for the company coming into town on Friday. Today I got the house totally cleaned, bathrooms and floors, and all the services are all nice and dusted and cleaned. So now I just got to get the bedding all cleaned up and ready for them so they can spend lots of time here and just relax. But I hope y'all have the best Thanksgiving tomorrow. Just put the books away and don't worry about this. Enjoy the time with your family, and I'll have all the repeat lives posted on YouTube for you guys. I'll see y'all again tomorrow night. I hope this was helpful. I'll see you again.